Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am here doing a me duck profile, but in retro specifically. Still haven't really figured out how to cope with VME leaving and didn't have a lot of time to figure that out before Albuquerque, so possibly going to be doing something more with it in AOT3, but for now, here's my retro deck profile. I'm on the Chaos symbol because you get to do some heinous things, which is kind of the point of retro period, but specifically, we are quote-unquote looping Ice Dragons and Fuma Seal. So because I manipulate the keywords, Ice Dragons is stun 4, which means freeze 4, which means as long as I have a momentum to use Ice Dragons, my next attack is always going to be +4 to its check, which I will because I put momentum there myself, which means that you go Ice Dragons on a 5, commit to give it stun 4, spend the momentum, play Fuma Seal, impossible to fail the check. Fuma Seal shoves Ice Dragon in your momentum, and then you can make Fuma Seal a powerful 6, draw a card, pass yourself Ice Dragon, and then just do that every turn. It just is really, really obnoxious when your opponent only gets to play with like 2 foundations a turn, usually if they're like 6 building or less. In later turns it gets a little bit easier for them to play, but it's definitely incredibly oppressive if you get it off early. Walk the Dog is just as good at killing people in retro as it is in standard, but some of the fun tools that I get to use that have rotated that I get back in retro are Jolt, because I can review this and it goes in face up, so it's some target committal. It's also guaranteed momentum either way because it's minimum 1 damage ability, and then Geoduray is a fun block trick as well as a way to potentially scam momentum or make your opponent be taxed on resources. Assets. We get to play VME in retro still, which is great. Kyo's Jacket is more targeted removal and it scams momentum, plus this card is just really sick. Probably my favorite card in the deck is Upper Sleeves. What this winds up being across turns in like grindier games is just tutoring whatever attacks that you didn't wind up playing or reviewing from your discard pile and just putting them in your momentum to pass themselves to you later. But in practice, usually this just puts Jolts from discard into momentum so that you can use them immediately, which is very, very strong. And then 1 Mana Sinias. This is very useful as far as like we are going to be playing a couple of other Voldo cards to like remove stuff or to play on the fact that I remove when I spend my momentum, specifically Guardian's Final Duty. So you can set up your discard pile so that they can only give you 1 option off of Mana Sinias, and stapling like Fuma Seal, Powerful 6, or whatever amount of stun to any move is pretty strong. We have 1 Ancestral Quiver as well. Card's just really good. Giving all of your attacks stun 2 across your turn is very strong, and also it's just a way at form speed to spend a momentum if you want to pass yourself something. You don't even necessarily have to use it. 4 Forceful Negotiator. It's good to just tax your opponent's resources still, even in this format. 2 Wearlight. This card is busted in half. Guardian's Final Duty, we were talking about that earlier. Eating attacks is a lot better than having to deal with any of the nonsense that's going on in retro, so just send them to hell. 2 copies of his Gift of Immortal Blood. -5 speed is so much minus speed. And on top of that, it's a momentum out and a way to spend whatever. Redeemed Rogue, we do have quite a few ranged in our attack lineup. We have these as well as these, so we have like 8 ways to remove with Redeemed Rogue if you really need it. And on top of that, that gets you to more remove than your opponent for Guardians if necessary. Face of Monster is a really sick defensive tool. You just play it at 1 because it's not our only defensive resource. True Identity is sick. Have the old copy of it. Shooting Star is another momentum out, and it's a way to draw cards. You can constantly re-ready itself as well at the cost of some momentum. Azure Nightmare broken. Inspiring Song broken. Don't do this as another way to... You will, by virtue of like having a bunch of different form speed and enhanced speed and like your turn, your opponent's turn ways to spend momentum, you will just wind up with so many cards in your hand that putting stun on something at the rate of discard 1 is pretty good, plus a +2 low block is like sometimes necessary, especially on turns where you resolve your up at her sleeves because you get like 1 to 2 things at form speed going into the next turn, and then you just have like whatever you started your hand with plus that. Plus you have like draws off of Walk the Dog, draws off of Fuma Seal, etc. Return of one of the best spam ever, requesting assistance. Return of better requesting assistance. Dreaming of Becoming Whole is insane. This card is very good. And release is also very good. It's our only real way in the deck to sack our staging area. So if you ever like need to get out of deadlock, if you get to that point, which you really shouldn't, more frequently than not, like I know that there are a lot of defensive resources in this deck, and like I talked about the grind game, but usually what winds up happening if you're doing your job in this deck is that you time lock your opponent 2 turns in a row and then they die. So like you shouldn't need to use this to get out of deadlock, but it is there as an option, and it definitely makes it impossible to fail checks while blocking in conjunction with some of your other minus speed stuff. But yeah, that was the deck profile. I have had a lot of fun playing this so far. I've only really played it in like 1 event total, and I believe I got second. I think I was like 2-0-1 in a webcam Wednesday. And then I'm planning on taking this to the Rochester Retro event tomorrow. As of the day of recording this is Thursday of the Albuquerque Regional. It was a hard sentence somehow. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the deck profile, and I will see you all around.